Got a big agenda today.
Good to go. Okay. You can start.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Carmel Clay Public Library Board of Trustees meeting, November 24th, 2025. I call this meeting to order. We do have an agenda in front of us.
Move approval of the agenda.
We have a first from Ann Poindexter,
Second.
second from Stephanie Kim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We also have the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from last month's Board of Trustees meeting, the claims and warrants from last month's financial report, and last month's bills report. Also, the minutes from the November 14th, 2025 Personnel and Policy Committee meeting.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
And we have a first from Ann Poindexter,
Second.
second from Stephanie Kim. All in favor, say aye. Okay, that carries. And no items were removed from the consent agenda. Bob laid out his director's report for everybody to read. Do you comment on that at all, or were there any questions for Bob?
Move to accept the director's report.
Okay, we have a first from Ann Poindexter to receive the director's report.
Second.
A second from John Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. No, I don't think we have any trustee liaison reports today, do we, Bob? No. Staff reports, no staff reports today, correct?
Correct.
We do have our teen library council today. And do we have some representatives from there?
So we have Megan and Shweta. Shweta, dang it. Sorry.
Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Should we start?
Yes.
Okay. So recently the Teen Library Council has been involved with the Halloween celebration, and what we did there was run games, including ghost knockdown, pumpkin sliding, and a pumpkin themed beanbag toss. And this event is also featured in the teen department board notes.
We are slowly working on planning a TLC event for January. We're slowly planning it over our monthly TLC meetings, and it's supposed to be an all ages event. Our current theme is a carnival themed crafts, sort of like winter themed, because it happens in January 31st from 1 to 3 p.m. Our working name is Winter Craft Carnival. The decor we have planned currently is winter and carnival themed, and more details will be finalized in our future TLC meetings.
Are these events only for teens?
It's all ages, and some of the events we do plan are teen, but the one we have for January is an all ages event.
And similar to the Halloween one that you did, it was for all ages as well?
Yes. At this next event, we're planning to have multiple booths with different types of crafts, and we're going to be having like different levels of craft at each booth. So that way, younger children can participate, and also, older adults and their teens can make slightly more complex crafts at those booths as well.
Is it in the community room?
Yes, it will be.
And who's doing the booths? You guys are doing that, teen council?
Yeah, and then also, like, I think teen volunteers might be helping operate stuff.
Thank you. Any other questions, anybody?
Nice,
Well,
thanks.
thank you for the update.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So we have a lot of stuff going on, the renovation update, one action item, and then we have some updates on the costs. Well, who wants to lead that part of the West Branch update?
We have our owner's rep, Bill Strack, is here with us to talk about some updates on the project. And I have your slides up. Do you want me to advance?
Yeah, if you want to go through it, just give you a look at what we've got done so far. You're looking at the book locker is set in place. The electrical and the network connections are there. The next slide, we can take a look at the circulation desk is in place.
Wow.
We did have a little coordination of moving the floor outlets under the circulation desk. But we got that resolved last Friday.
I think this desk is gonna be perhaps the biggest visual change on the interior. It's nice when you're in there and it looks much more in line with all of our other service desks that we have here at Main Library, and I think it better delineates the staff space versus the patron space, so they have a little bit more of a clear work line there. So and they didn't have much room to do anything at the other desk, so this one's much more functional. So I'm kind of excited about this desk. And Catherine, our branch manager's here. Do you agree with that, Catherine?
Adjustable height workstations.
Yeah, it does have sit stand capabilities.
Is there
Within
a
the desk.
before picture?
I'm sorry,
Is there a before picture?
the circulation desk.
Yeah, just of that in same space, just so for comparison.
Don't have one in the report, but I could.
It is
definitely give
essentially
one.
the same place.
Yeah,
But
It
it's-
was just
it's
a
a
desk.
different
Desk,
outline.
It was just a
Oh, so
desk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, just-
Yeah.
So what else is there then? That
It was just, we just had our other desk there, but it was just more of a kind of a regular one shelf desk, and we had two self checks on either side of it, but there really wasn't much
then
workspace.
it's on the backside, since this is like circular, so it takes.
And it
more.
wasn't an ADA compliant desk. It was a portion of this we can raise and lower as we need it, so be helpful.
Wasn't there a bookshelf on the backside of the desk?
Like for books for people to check out.
I think so.
Yes, that case will return.
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
that
it'll
case
fit
will
into that.
return. This is just in progress.
As will the rest of us.
Yeah.
So the question is, were there any other areas that
That we're
they
removing
that were
to
removed
fit.
to fit this?
No. Will return, so nothing is going to be lost in that space, just add.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Okay.
This, we're looking at the old windows here demoed and they're in progress. Actually got a picture right as I got this report done of the new set of windows that got installed today. So showing you window progress is coming along here.
They were referencing that they needed to find something to anchor them to. Did they solve that
Yes.
pretty easily?
They did. They have the steel studs in there for backing and we are good.
Great, okay.
Some other things that have been done since we last talked, the gas meter has been changed out to the proper sizing for the new rooftop units. The parapet wall framing is complete and the drywall patching is complete inside.
This is your last slide, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
go back to camera.
So I guess we need to kind of talk about schedule. Bob and Catherine and I met this afternoon and we are experiencing a little delay with our cornice. Since we discovered concrete masonry units on the where the cornice gets installed, where the parapet wall was to be framed. So we had to redesign the cornice, and when we did that, we got kicked out of the manufacturer's production schedule. We got moved to the back. So it's causing a delay. At about 1:30 this afternoon, we heard that there is our expected delivery is not till February and the end of February for expected install. So Bob and Catherine and I met and we've looked at a couple options. And we believe the best option at this point to move forward is to go ahead and open the branch for book return and book locker usage. Allowing Catherine to get in there and her staff and her team to get in there every day and handle that procedure that needs to be done with the book locker and book
Yeah.
return.
And I'll say up to this point, we had been kind of internally targeting Monday, December 15th as a potential reopen date, since we're now clearly waiting on materials and it's not going to be ready. We did look at options. We also briefly considered reopening on abbreviated hours.
Is it
And,
structured?
and striking the difference between them completing the work and operating the branch some. that's problematic just in terms of even just communicating that to the public. So we need to, we're just not going to be ready, but we do think it is feasible to address some of the major things that people want to do at the branch, and that is pick up their stuff and return items. And the thing it surprised me a little bit, but the comments I've been getting from the public is that they want to be able to return their stuff in there. So we could accommodate that, and they could not only return, but with the lockers being there, we could enable pickup and returns while we're still working out our reopen date. And I think we'll be ready to come back at our next meeting and have the information that we need to recommend a reopening date.
So it was originally December 15th, and now it's gonna be into February.
Yeah, and it was even originally, we were saying, we're hoping pretty shortly after Thanksgiving, but again, we knew that all of this was subject to, waiting to have the materials in hand, so.
And what exactly are we missing?
The cornice is the outdoor. The decorative, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, cornice is the top piece of the building, kind of the ornate part. Imagine kind of crown molding like the top of your room. It's kind of like this similar concept to what that is on the building. At the top of the brick, it's the fiberglass piece that is mounted at the base.
So it's
So
not,
it doesn't affect anything on the
I was gonna say,
inside.
it's
It's
not
not structural,
structural.
it's just decorative.
It is not structural, no. It is just decorative, but there is quite a bit of work that's gonna have to be done on the exterior of the building as they install that. They'll still have a lift on site and such.
But that won't happen until the piece actually comes in.
Correct.
And
So
what's the-
until now and then, like,
There's a couple other factors too that could delay that opening. We're trying to prepare the steel inside the library at the back to receive the screen wall that goes on the back of the branch. So that they have not got an estimated delivery date on the steel that goes in there, and then the welding that has to occur. And then we've got a delay on fire alarm devices. We're trying to coordinate with actually having the electrician install the fire alarm devices only and have a Ryan Fire Protection install the panel. So there is a couple other things that are causing this delay.
What are the
Right,
delays
but
on those things?
We're not saying that we should stay closed until the cornices. I mean, it's all these other factors. I think we can open ahead of that, but we don't have a lock on all of that yet. And some of these things just developed today, hours
Yeah.
before we had this meeting.
And December 15th was pushed out. Originally, it was gonna be closer to Thanksgiving.
That was our goal, but it was,
What was communicated to the public? December
we
15th.
communicated after Thanksgiving. We
Okay.
never gave a date.
How much traffic is in this branch around winter break for the schools?
It's very quiet. It's our slowest period of the year.
Good to know.
So the plan is by next month, we would know more about the fire alarms and the structural stuff.
The cornice delivery
And
and
then,
installation.
so if those things got answered, we could open without the decorative thing.
Correct.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be great if the anniversary, the next year anniversary is January 6th. Now, Monday, January 5th is close enough, so there could be some synergy and maybe reopening close to the original opening date. So possible.
what is the installation time for the cornice piece? I mean, if you get it.
As
And
I
the
understand
library's
it,
already
it goes
open.
up in 6-foot sections, but you do have to use the large boom lift. So we looked at options of having like a delayed hours of operation, pushing opening back to like noon to install the cornice. But then when we received this news today and the other delays, we said it's probably best just to start with the book locker and the book return machine. And then once we have a firm schedule of the cornice delivery, I plan on coming back and giving you guys a full report out in December with a firmed up schedule.
Do you know
So-
how long the cornice will take to install?
They estimated 10 to 12 days, I believe, on their original schedule. Yeah,
That wasn't something that you could negotiate with the manufacturer since we already had a slot.
yeah, they're given a duration of 11 days for install. I'm sorry?
That wasn't something you could negotiate with the manufacturer since we had a slot originally, instead of being moved to the back of the line. You're like,
I've offered to help the contractor with that negotiation, but ultimately it's the contractor's responsibility. So, I mean, we're fully prepared to go to Chicago and do a shop visit, but the main thing is right now we got to get this thing into production and get a date out of the manufacturer. We couldn't get that until this afternoon.
Besides those three things, what else? Is any other delays on anything else?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Any other delays on anything else besides those three items?
Good golly, I hope not. No, we have been on top of everything else. We are going through these ship dates weekly. I've had numerous of phone calls with Don, our contractor. Greg and Charlie have been communicating. Really, we're pushing everything possible to get this stuff. The problem was when we discovered that CMU back mid-October, I'm gonna say the 16th, I believe it was, right around in there. We had to call the manufacturer and that's when we got kicked out. And the cornice is made out of fiberglass, so it's custom manufactured molds. So that's not helping us. They have to make those molds for us for this job.
So obviously the cornice is not a C of O issue, so what are the C of O issues that preventing us from opening on the 15th?
Opening on the 15th, certificate of occupancy issues right now at this point would be fire alarm, steel. We don't know the steel. We can't be in there welding
Yep.
the steel. And the other thing I think it's
So what's-
important to mention that I might have forgot to mention, this also allows solar time for install, which is really big because that is going to be quite disruptive to patrons. They'll be up on the roof, walking around and kind of making some noise. We were in there last Thursday and there were 2 or 3 people on the roof walking around. It was pretty disruptive.
Okay, so you said steel and fire alarms. What's the reason for the delay on those?
The steel is the manufacturer,
Manufacturer.
just can't get a good date out of him, can't get in line.
And this is, you think some of this is probably caused by the contractor too, just?
I don't think it's fair to say it's caused by the contractor. We were on a tight schedule to begin with.
Sure.
So getting in line for a steel manufacturer is pretty typical for what I've experienced on larger projects, on projects in general. Steel is always a lead time issue. It's a custom piece. So is the cornice, so.
Well, we knew about the steel before, right? We knew about the steel before, like. We were planning a launch on December 15th. That wasn't the steel ordered back then?
I'm not sure when the contractor ordered the steel. I don't know that exact date, but we had to do shop drawings and field verification for the screen wall measurements and such. And then when we discovered the CMU, that changed all of our dimensions up on the roof.
I will say.
For the parapet wall, the screen wall and everything else.
When the cornice became in flux, because it tied together with the louver wall, I think the contractor probably held some of that, releasing some of that, because the cornice and the parapet on 3 sides was changing. I think he was worried that it might make changes to the steel and the louver wall, because they had to line up at the top. So my guess is they probably held those, but complete.
So I'm assuming
Result.
the contractor was just the lowest, and most responsive bidder. Was that kind
It
of
was.
okay?
He was.
Got it. Yeah. So I think as you probably noticed from the number of questions you're getting from board members, this board is certainly very sensitive to comments of delays in construction projects. I understand that you guys don't always control the contractors. And that within reason, there's only so much you can do. You can't push, you can push, but there's a limit there, so. I think the problems solving aspect of this, and I assume, I don't want to speak for the board, but I'm certainly curious what everyone's thoughts are, is really try to identify what are the issues that are gonna limit C of O, so obviously fire alarms, steel. And if those dates are effectively firmed up, we understand that even operationally could be disruptive, but it feels to me that it's kind of the wish of this board to at least have some sort of a ability to use the facilities, even though it's not optimal, it's not ideal. The cornice issues, I understand, it's an exterior cornice, it's not structural, it's not going to affect the bow, but I think just trying to be creative around when we can have some sort of operation ahead of February would be ideal. So
Sure.
I would say, going back to your team, just thinking through some of those issues to help us, understand there's definitely some things we don't control, and again, the process is based on whose contractors are the lowest and most responsive bidders, and so it is what it is. Yeah.
And again, not to open when things are banging around and all that stuff. I want to be, reasonable about what that experience would look like, rather than just get the doors open at all costs. So some compromise in there, that we don't just say, well, we can't open it until everything's done, to when we can maybe legitimately open it where it's a good experience for people as soon as we can.
So is it fair to say, once we achieve our CO, that we could look at opening options, and then once we hit February and we know our firm dates on our cornice delivery, would we be willing to accept like delayed opening options at that point? We could send out a memo and say, hey, we're just gonna push back opening a couple hours to allow them time to work in the morning.
Yeah, I feel like that's a much better in-between solution than just saying, hey, we're wholesale, we're not open until February. I think that creates, there's some.
Yeah, I agree with that, and we don't want to do that. We just felt like it's where we are right now. It's too early to determine that reopen date, but I think we'll be able to come back next month with a plan to present to you. Then it won't be February.
So what I would like to see, I felt like this was a little misleading, because you said we cannot open the branch because of the cornice delivery, but really it's not the cornice that's causing the delay. It's all these other things that are more material. So it'd be helpful, I think, at least for me and maybe for others, to be able to see the timeline of when these things are expected to be installed, so that we can gauge what an appropriate opening time or delay or possible could be.
And we were fully prepared to have that for you today until about 1:30 this afternoon, when we got another email explaining additional delays, so.
But
yeah.
you can just, add that in, so we can see everything.
Okay.
That would be helpful.
Yeah,
At
just
least-
the items and what
Sure.
what the delivery time is, what expected time to come, and especially with the fire alarms and the steel, right? Yeah.
And I agree with Stephanie. I appreciate that you've mentioned it to the contractor. I would love for you to be on a repeat cycle. Contractor should be negotiating with that manufacturer. We had a slot. Now you said nothing could be done until we had this new date. Well, I'd love to see that contractor, with or without you, go back in there and negotiate. That would give us much better feelings about that contract.
I am willing to set up weekly coordination meetings with the cornice manufacturer and weekly coordination meetings, but it is not, essentially, it's not my contractor, but I can be in the middle and run that coordination for sure.
No, but you can tell our contractor that, that's the expectation of the board, that the contractor should be doing that.
Yeah, and all items that are related to the occupancy, the be able to get into the building, that's compliant, right? All those items.
I agree with all said there. Yeah, I think initially, I don't think it was the intent, I'm sure, but just it seemed like it was the cornice that was the issue and that we were waiting. So just everything that needs to be done that could delay that December 15th date. And I think it would be helpful to understand on the solar. Is that an occupancy thing or more of an issue because it's loud, and could that be done on the 11 days?
It's not an
This is done?
occupancy issue, it's just a more of a nuisance issue to your patrons.
Just maybe when that could be
Yeah,
scheduled.
include that in there, you know, because
It's
if it's
whatever
gonna
you
be
want.
disruptive,
Yeah,
it's just so we have an idea of like everything that could possibly affect.
you just got this info today, but
Yeah.
that'd be helpful.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Is that something you would like email prior to the December meeting?
Sure.
As soon as possible, I would think. We can get to Bob and Bob can get it to us, right?
We can get that up.
What hours during opening is the branch busier? Is it after school when the kids get out and get home, or?
It really varies. It depends even by the season or what's going on with schools. If they're just like with here with our ACE days or our PSAT days, typically when we open between 10 and 12:30, we have a large rush. And then after school between 3:30 and 7, we have an afternoon evening rush.
Okay.
That's a great question.
So Catherine, for you, what's your feel on the community there and like, well, how they would, what's their expectation, I guess, and how do you?
Very patient over the past few months, and they are big fans of the West Branch. That being said, having the ability to open up and test our new holds locker system and allow returns at the branch location will really give them some things that they've been asking for. So we'll be able to return partial services that way. I think they've been through other projects with us. They've been through the main library renovation, the launch of the branch almost 6 years ago. I think they'd like us to see do things correctly and get it done right. If that means we need to take a little bit longer, we will, but our goal is to get back there as soon as possible. And if we're able to do that with adjusted hours at some point in January, we would love to do that.
Are the returns, they don't have to enter inside, they do that?
There's
It's
a
like
drive
plot?
up, everything's in the back.
Okay.
And when do we think that would be available?
12.
If not before.
Well, I think you kind of understand the sensitivity here. I mean, look, I also understand too, like, there's only so much. They're not your contractors, there's only so much you can do, but.
I didn't want to speak the news. I mean.
Totally get it. I totally get it. No, and part of it is like, you know, push as hard as you can, right? And I see,
Absolutely.
you know, I suspect you guys are doing that already, but certainly if you want to sort of make this governing body seem to be the ones applying pressure on you to apply the pressure on the contractor, feel free. I think all of us are pretty comfortable with that. But yeah, I get it. It's you know, believe it or not, more common than you think to you know, I'm speaking to my colleagues here, more common than you think to have these types of issues, but yeah, it's certainly, I think, we want to try to do everything we can. And so we certainly hope our owners rep them.
Yeah, I also
Push back
want
up.
to do everything possible to get the branch opened. And we will work towards that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Oh, we do have to, so we're not gonna
Take a
take
vote
any
on
action,
something.
then we're gonna vote on something?
It's gonna table.
Table that for next month. This month.
Yeah, we'll table it for next month.
Okay, so we don't know, we don't have enough information about to make the decision on that. Okay, the renovation cost, do we need to go over that, or is that just?
No, unless anybody has questions.
Maybe any questions on the cost, that should be in your packets, okay. Thank you. We ready for strategic planning?
Okay. Cindy, we are ready for you.
Great. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to be sharing slides that are directly pulling the verbiage from the draft of the plan that you all hopefully had attached to your packet for today's meeting. So I will let you know that this has been through many iterations and reviews for that final plan. And this is just meant to be that quick check to make sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So let's jump right on in here. Oh, sorry. I'm having trouble. There we go. Ah, I'm at the very last slide. Okay, so you're seeing my screen, right? Why is at the top of the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So just as a refresher, this new strategic plan answers a lot of questions moving forward about what to spend your time on and what not to spend your time on for the library staff and for your leadership. It gives you those priorities and a path toward achieving them. I just want to say the thing that I really like about a strategic plan is it gives staff the opportunity to say, if a community member or organization approaches them, to say, yes, that's a great idea. That is not currently one of our main strategic directions, but this is how we can help aside from that. So it can be powerful in that way as well. I just want to do a big shout out to everybody who was on the planning team. It took a lot of bodies to pull this off. So this is the group of folks who really gave their time and creativity and energy to the process, thanks to the planning team as a whole. As a reminder, this is how we got to where we are. The first phase, the learn phase, was about collecting data and creating that learning report. And then the dream phase is when the workshops happened. And you all did that with Amanda to take a look at the learning report and sort of kerchunk what you saw there. And then we took what you saw from your review and created the draft plan, which has been through the review process. And right now we are on the presentation to the board in the third phase, the do phase. From here, it will go on to implementation, and I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. So this is just the reminder of what we're going to be reviewing in general: vision, mission, strategic direction, and goal. And then it's going to stop there. The activity, the evaluation, and the reporting, that has yet to come through the implementation work that the staff will do with Amanda, I believe after the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Great. So let's look at your current vision statement. It is to support a diverse community of people committed to lifelong learning and enhanced quality of life and enriching social and cultural experiences. You'll see the note at the bottom is, this is your current vision. It was decided to stick with that. Oh, and I'm sorry. And as part of the implementation of the strategic plan, which has yet to come, the library is going to review and refresh the vision, mission, and create a value statement, which is not included in this presentation. So more to come on that, and we're just sort of keeping on with what we've got for the moment. Same thing with the mission statement here, which is currently, though it may change, to inspire lifelong discovery, facilitate collaboration, and connect people with resources. So this is the big reveal. These are your three sort of columns of strategic directions. That is engaging and connecting, responsive and accessible, and collaborating and empowering. And let's go through the goals underneath each of those. So the first one, engaging and connecting, is really about, in goal 1.1, those partnerships out in the community and working with folks to provide the services and resources that your patrons need, that other organizations connect, and to sort of do more together. That second goal, 1.2, is really about communication that blasts from the library out into the community to help tell its story and let folks in the community know what's going on, what's coming up for programs and services. I'm going to pause here. You'll see I'm not reading all of the verbiage verbatim because I know you had the opportunity to do that. I want to do a check on strategic direction 1 and see if anyone had any comments or anything on this one. All right, I'm going to keep zooming through. Strategic direction 2, the second column, is responsive and accessible. And like the first one, this is outward facing. This is facing the community. And it talks about like you were just talking about, spaces like your buildings as a place for the community to meet up. And it also talks about continuing to be innovative leaders in the services and technologies that you provide. It was clear that the community is very proud of how sort of cutting edge you all are in those, and important to keep that momentum going in your programs, collections, everything related to that. So the goal 2.1 under strategic direction 2 is really just talking about to keep on keeping on with those services and technologies, and to simply be responsive to community need as it evolves in the coming years. 2.2 is to pretty much do the same thing, but with programs and collections that reflect the community demographically and interest-wise, culturally. 2.3 is to really just optimize the user's experience in the library to make it as easy as possible, to remove as many barriers as possible. And just to hear your talk with the contractor earlier, it's clear that you're doing that as much as you can with the buildings right now. Any thoughts on strategic direction 2, responsive and accessible? Y'all just want to get through this. Okay, we'll do that. Strategic direction 3 is an inward facing one. It is collaborating and empowering. And I am going to read this one here. It is that working to provide a strong internal culture where staff can learn and grow. The staff members support excellent customer service and are the heart of the library services to the public. Some of you may have heard me say this in meetings that we've been in along the way, but increasingly library strategic plans are having an internally facing goal like this. And I'm really happy that you all committed to that as well. Just making sure that you hire, train, and retain fantastic staff people who are happy to go back to work each day. So the sub goal 3.1 there is really about professional development and professional learning and growth, so that people can continue to do their jobs well based on what's hot and new in library land. And then goal 3.2 is to, at different interviews, review what staff needs and how they communicate with each other in order to keep things positive and smooth for the internal culture of the library. Any questions on this inward facing goal at all?
Didn't we
Oh,
about
yeah, go ahead.
retention in one of them, and also advancement for staff for moving for different positions? One of those two of the issues that from our feedback we got.
Yeah. So I feel really, oh, sorry about that. I feel very confident that both of those things that you mentioned, retention and advancement, are going to come in the activities underneath probably 3.1 and 3.2. And that's going to be the next step. Once you approve this, is going to start assigning the actual on the ground activities that support these. So creating that positive internal culture is a really good place to talk about both retention and advancement, I think. So that detail has yet to come. So I'll just say, Bob and Beth, hang on to those words for your workshop with Amanda. Shall we move on? Okay, so let me tell you what happens from here then. Right now, we're in this transition phase from planning, and then the next thing that happens is implementation. And that's going to be Amanda working with Bob and Beth and whoever you create on your leadership team to get a scaffolding for what it's going to look like to assign activities to each of the goals. It kind of ends up being perhaps if you do annual work plans, it could end up being a process similar to that. But we're going to provide you a template with lots of data filled in as potential activities to come under those. Amanda will talk you all through that, and it'll be up to you ultimately, probably department by department at the leadership level with support from the department staff, to determine what those activities look like for the coming year in support of the new plan. So this is what's coming. That activity plan that Amanda will do through implementation, the implementation meeting, worked into that plan, and a document that goes with the plan is an evaluation framework, and we'll share samples on what reporting, sort of communicating out to your stakeholders, your leadership, your community, what your progress looks like on your strategic plan. So that'll be baked in through the implementation process. Any questions for me? I know you all put a lot of time in, starting with our original SOAR issue, episode when I was there when the weather was nice. So I want to thank you all for the work that you put in. I think you ended up with a really fantastic plan that's truly responsive of your community and your staff. Questions?
Seeing no questions. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to log off. Hopefully you approve this, and then you'll hear from Amanda next. Thanks, you all.
Thanks, Cindy.
Bye-bye and happy Thanksgiving.
Two.
So we have an action plan on that.
So the strategic plan is in the board packet.
Move to approve.
Okay, we got a motion to approve the strategic planning. Who was second? Who's the second? Rosie. Rosie's second. Okay, all in favor, say hi. Aye. Casey. And then Rosie.
Just a reminder, our new process, we are live streaming our meetings we can connect our Zoom meeting with YouTube and live stream it. So that's how we're doing it.
Thank you. Any old business? Any new business? We have 3 things on here. Let's go one by one on each one of these. So we have the first was the resolution 10/20/25 for the 2026 salaries and benefits. Do you want to say something about that, you EJ?
And is here, I could say something about it. This is also, there was a resolution in the board packet. I'm trying to find it. It's before the handbook, I think. But essentially, the Personnel and Policy Committee met and we discussed this with myself, EJ, and Teresa, our HR man. There you are. You're there in the corner. I'm just trying to find you. So we met and we discussed this out, and I don't know if anyone from the Personnel Committee wants to talk about it instead of me, but you can see here on the resolution, it's kind of a simple plan, and that the recommendation is a 4% increase or $1 an hour increase, whichever is more, and to move the pay scale 2% within that 4%. And what we found, what Teresa found when she dug into it, is that we have an issue, a classic issue that we've complained about for decades, of compression, that people, particularly people on the lower side of the pay scale, don't really move on that pay scale. And so that creates compression issues. We hire new people in and very close to the same pay. So this plan allows for a way to address that problem and letting our existing staff move in their pay range better than we've historically been able to do.
Any questions for?
We talked in the committee meeting, we talked about taking a look at it in a year, I think. So how will is that auto timed? Like, will we talk about this next November? How
I think
will
it's
we
gonna
kinda-
go in conjunction with the comp study, right? We won't reevaluate. Like, were you gonna do the comp study next year?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. We talked about like having that on a 5-year cadence. At the 2027.
Yeah, was more than a year. Bob says it's simple. It caused a lot of discussion. It was a much longer meeting than he anticipated. And
Have the dissent over here.
and so the committee agreed to bring it forward and to recommend it for 1 year only. and I'll tell you, some of the discussion was truly what is the problem that we're addressing and what are we really fixing?
So we talked about looking at retention as possibly an indicator, so just an invitation to discuss how we'll look at that.
Yeah, and so next year, we can see after 1 year whether it's done anything to address any issues that we discussed.
Yes. So we will report next year on our findings.
Sounds like it was vetted out very well.
It was a long meeting.
A long meeting.
Yeah, 2 meetings.
Well, thank you for everybody that was on that personnel committee and Teresa and Bob. We have a motion.
I'll move to accept the resolution for salaries and benefits.
Okay, we got a first from John Williams,
Second.
second from Rosie Falls. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everybody, for all your hard work on that. It's always a big topic and big project to move forward. Thank you. The employee handbook. Bob, you want to talk about that? It's
Sure, and might invite our HR manager, Teresa Brandt, to talk about it too. She put a lot of work into it. This update has been sort of years in the making. Teresa's predecessor had started working on it, hadn't finished it. We updated a lot of policies in those years that this has been worked on. But it looks great, it's functional, it's helpful for the staff. I might have thought that this was for information only. I believe our attorney advised that the board should
Take a formal action.
take a formal action to accept it. Most of the handbook, I believe, is based off current approved policies. So, and Teresa, there's 2 documents in there, and she created one that's the whole handbook, and another one that only spotlights the new language from the old handbook. And Teresa, do you want to add anything?
I compared the new handbook to the policy manual and the whole handbook, and pretty much highlighted anything that wasn't really called out in either one, and that's what the highlighted.
And when we negotiated benefits, we changed some companies, and some of that gets reflected in the handbook, perhaps.
Is it effective right now?
What's that?
Is it effective now? Is it be January 1st or what's the date on?
Actually, once it's approved, it hasn't been rolled out yet, so it would be effective, once it's approved.
And again, that would be the board who makes the approval.
Sorry, what?
It would be the board that would approve, like, for example, if you voted to approve the updated employee handbook today.
Yeah.
Then in turn, then you could roll out the
Yeah.
new handbook effective tomorrow.
What will be best for you for the,
Yeah, I mean, really, the sooner the better. The old handbook is really, really old. And, it would be nice to have, the new and expanded language out to employees. So, and especially, for new employees, because the old one is just so out of date, so, the sooner the better.
would it affect any kind of employee benefits at all?
It
Or,
does not affect any employee benefits, other than, I just expanded on, a little bit of the language and included more of, what our employee benefits are in the handbook.
Move approval of the new employee benefits or the new employee handbook, excuse me.
okay, we have a first employee Dexter,
Second.
second from Casey Wilson, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for all your work on that.
Yeah, thank you. It looks great. And I was looking at that strategic planning goal to improve internal communications. Well, this new handbook is gonna do a lot towards that. Thank you.
And will you have training on that for the staff, or is it just, how will you roll that out? Is that?
Well, in a couple different ways. I mean, you know, I work, all of the managers, in the library, I've worked with them on it. In a lot of different ways to make sure that it reflects how we operate at the library. So a lot of the managers already have seen it, have worked with me on it. They know what's in it. But of course, you know, first, it starts with the managers. I'll roll it out to employees, probably have office hours, things like that to work with the employees on it as well. And then, of course, you know, as the managers already know, they'll have the resource of the managers and myself as well.
We have one more thing on the agenda, this, bylaws, and that's, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, this one could be easy. I found out from the state library that the board is required to approve the bylaws every 3 years. So we're a little out of date. I didn't have any recommendations. We gave us a pretty heavy look in 2022. Made some changes that we thought it needed. I don't have any further recommendations, and unless anyone else does, we could just reapprove our bylaws.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a first from Stephanie King, second from Ann Poindexter, all in favor of the CCPL bylaws. Okay, motion carries. Great. Anything else? We are adjourned.
Look at that, still inside an hour.